Hello, everybody. Just before I get going, just check if you can hear me. See if I can. All right. You know what? I don't know if this will work, so I think I'll take the microphone off and speak from here. So hello everyone, welcome to the Matt's channel, and I am here to give you predictions for my for the upcoming fixtures of the World Cup qualifiers in Africa. I see someone has come along, so I'm going to do one more microphone check. Can you hear me? Just a question. You know, I'll just go without this. So anyway, coming up into this African World Cup qualifying, there's some good fixtures, there's some boring fixtures, and we're going to go over it right now. Now, you may know that I did a preview over Group B of the African section on the qualifiers in Group B. And I didn't continue it partly because I wasn't that well at the time when I was planning to do the next episode. And also, Dean from Algerian Football pretty much covered the rest of it. So therefore, I couldn't. Therefore, there wasn't too much more I could really add, even though he was generally covering all the groups. But what he isn't doing is doing some previews, and I'm going to go over all these fixtures on match day 3. So let's get right into it. Starting with the penultimate group, Group H, I think it is. Yeah, Group H. Let's start with the first game. Sedan versus Guinea. Now I think Sedan looks to be the weakest team in the group. Guinea got Naby Keita to pull the strings. It's not too much I can say, so I'm going to go with a 2-0 victory for Guinea. And now up next, we've got Morocco versus Guinea Bissau. It's a game where it could go where Morocco were the favourites, but Guinea Bissau perhaps could cause some problems. Got a result against Guinea, got a brilliant victory against Sedan, whether they were expected to or not. Well, how do I think it's going to go? I think Morocco are going to win it by some goals. Thinking either 2-0 or 3-1. But then Guinea found it hard to break through Guinea Bissau. I think I'll go with 2-0 to Morocco. Now let's go from alphabetical order. Starting in Group A, where we've got Algeria, current African champions, as they take on Niger. I think it's going to be one-sided. I don't think Niger will concede as many as Algeria's first opponents, but we'll get to them soon. But I do think it's going to be an easy one, and I'm going to say it'll be Algeria 5, Niger 0. And next we go to Djibouti versus Burkina Faso. I think this is going to be another one-sided game. Djibouti have been horrendous. The fact they couldn't get a result against Niger at home means I don't think they're going to get anything at all. Clearly out of their depth. And I am going to say it will be looking at 3 or 4-0. Burkina Faso pretty good, so I'm going to give them a fourth goal. And now we're going to go to Group B, where we've got Equatorial Guinea versus Zambia. Equatorial Guinea got off to a not good start, where the second half away at Tunisia was one-sided, and then at home to Mauritania, they got a win that will help them if they've got any sort of chance. So whether you're watching this live or afterwards, do give your predictions. Equatorial Guinea up against the Zambia team, who started well with a win away at Mauritania. Then they came home to Tunisia, who I watched the game. Zambia they conceded a harsh handball, which Tunisia converted the penalty. Then tested the keeper once, and then the rest of the game was very much all Zambia. They created so many chances. They even tried 3 different strikers, but they just couldn't score from any of their chances. And then within the last 2 minutes, Tunisia score once Zambia lose their legs. And it pretty much showed that they were missing Patson Daka, the goal scorer, their best goal scoring threat. And yeah, I pretty much said it was smoke without Daka. But looking over to this Equatorial Guinea versus Zambia, Zambia won't look to be complacent like they were towards the end of the Mauritania game when they did concede a consolation. I think this game will pretty much fit in Zambia's favour because, unlike maybe some of their home games, I think they're going to get, as far as I know, they're going to get Patson Daka, they're going to get Sakala, the Rangers player, and probably some of their other better players that maybe play in Russia and Austria. It's just some of the other best leagues. And I'm going to say it's going to be a 3-0 victory for Zambia. I think they're going to put most of their eggs in this basket. And then by the time they come to the home leg against Equatorial Guinea, it will be perhaps more of an ugly affair that they'll just take a narrow win. Up next, we've got Tunisia versus Mauritania. Tunisia, they've gone off to a great start. 2 wins, no goals conceded. Perhaps they were fortunate to away at Zambia to get all 3 points, but they were in a good position up against a Mauritania team who've had the opposite start, but they have got a draw against Tunisia in the past, most notably in the last Africa Cup of Nations in the group stage. I think Mauritania will try and be well defensively set up, and I think Tunisia will also be strong defensively against this Mauritania team, but they've definitely got more creativity than Mauritania do. So I'm going to say it'll be 2-0 to Tunisia. And up next, we go to Group C, where Nigeria are. But first, we're going to go to Liberia versus Cape Verde. Liberia have had a pretty good start, given that they've played the favourites. Although I reckon Cape Verde will step up and get a 2-1 victory. And now up next, we've got Nigeria versus Central African Republic. And the good news for Nigeria is their better players have come back. Like Wilfred Ndidi, Alex Iwobi, and some of the other players that wouldn't have allowed to come with the squad for these other 2 games. And given that their squad's going to be stronger against a team that won't really be competing. I'm going to say it'll be a 4-0 win for Nigeria. And next we go to a group with competition between Ivory Coast and Cameroon. Starting with the Ivory Coast, they're away at Malawi. Malawi are a pretty good opposition. I don't think they will put much of a fight in dethroning the favourites in this group, but I think they've certainly qualified for the latest Africa Cup of Nations. It will be won't be an easy place to go to, but I'm going to give Ivory Coast a 2-1 victory. I just think they're a stronger team. Yes, they got an unwanted result away at Mozambique, but Mozambique pretty much parking the bus from what I saw. And then on to Cameroon versus Mozambique. I think Cameroon certainly have one of the best African keepers around with Onana of Ajax and some other good players which can put them into contention with battling with the Ivory Coast. What do I think? I think they're going to keep a clean sheet. And I think they'll sneak a 3-0 win. Perhaps 2-0 for most of the game, and then a set piece can give them a third goal. And now we go down to the next group where we see, for the most part, an all East African affair. Let's start with Rwanda versus Uganda. Rwanda I think the fact they're the weakest team and they only lost 1-0 to Mali, it means they can compete a bit more in this group. And then they got a draw with Kenya. I don't think they really will make a real push. And then there's a Uganda team who got 2 draws, no goals conceded, but no goals scored. But I think they are still one of the strongest teams in the group. And I think they'll get their campaign kick-started here with a 2-1 away victory. And now we go to Mali versus Kenya. Mali are the popular choice to go through, despite what some people like me have said. They've been quite disappointing. The fact they've only got a 1-0 victory against Rwanda at home, which would ideally be their easiest game. In theory, it would be their easiest game. Only a 1-0 victory, I think that opens things up a bit more. But then again, I haven't watched the game, but it could have been that Rwanda were very defensively set up, and therefore Mali can allow much creativity. I'm not sure, but I think they'll improve a bit. No, they wouldn't. I think from memory they were a little bit better than Uganda in that last game, but they haven't. I wouldn't say they've been as good as maybe they've expected to be. But I think they'll get a 2-0 victory against Kenya. Kenya could easily get a result, but this might be a bit of a blow. I think they might do better in the next fixture. Onto the following group, Egypt's group, but we're going to start with Angola versus Pure Emirate Aubameyang's Gabon. Angola having even though they lost by small margins, especially against Egypt, I don't think they're going to get a point here. I thought if they were going to get something, it would have been at home to Libya, despite how well they've started. They might get something against Gabon, although I think there's not a lot of hope here. And I think despite how overhyped Gabon might be, I think they're still strong enough to get a result here. And Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and some of the supporting cast will get them the victory. So I'm going to say 2-1. Egypt versus Libya, a North African derby. What a matchup we have here, especially with Libya's great start, having won both of their first 2 games and currently top of the group. So they've certainly got a lot of confidence. But how about this game? Egypt, I think from what I've seen, they have been defensively good, quite lackluster up front. But with the return of Mohamed Salah, as far as I think I'm pretty sure Salah is going to be back. And the fact that Egypt have got Carlos Queiroz, I think that's going to be 2 huge bonuses. I know Queiroz struggled at Colombia, but then I don't think Colombia was the right fit for Queiroz. I don't think the styles really matched. But I think Egypt, he should do better. He was fantastic at Iran and did well at Real Madrid and not badly at Portugal either. With the factor of Queiroz and Salah, I'm going to say it will be a 2-0 victory for Egypt. Now we go to the next group. I forgot. I've lost count what it is. I think it's the 7th group. Group G, I think. Never mind. First game, Ethiopia versus South Africa. Ethiopia managed to hold Ghana to just a narrow defeat. And they got a good win against Zimbabwe. And I'd say they're probably one of the best of the rank 4th of the pot 4 teams. How will they do against South Africa, who got an away draw to Zimbabwe and then beat Ghana? A lot of people are favouring South Africa here. I'm still going to go Ghana to top the group, but I think for me, the team that's going to top is the team that has the best away form. But as for this game, Ethiopia got a good win against Zimbabwe. I think they're going to give South Africa a good game. South Africa, they're looking good. Nothing special. But the fact they didn't get a win away at Zimbabwe could be a bit of a blow. I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. I think both teams will probably be about equal, even if South Africa are the stronger. I think being at home will help Ethiopia out quite a bit. Ghana versus Zimbabwe. Ghana, I think, are a team that could push to qualify. Maybe haven't looked too convincing recently. I think the Ayew brothers will be available. Thomas Partey has not featured recently. And the loss at South Africa was certainly disappointing from their perspective. And I'm sure they would have liked to have got a bigger win against Ethiopia. Zimbabwe, on the other hand, they've been hyped up as some challengers. They did recently sack their coach, which could mean though it could get better. They've not scored yet. The only team not to win at home. And they lost away at Ethiopia, which perhaps is the lowest ranked team and maybe even the worst team. I don't know, but I am going to give Ghana a 2-0 victory because I think Zimbabwe aren't at it yet, and and I think Ghana will probably find it a bit easier than, say, against Ethiopia. And now we go on to the next group with Senegal in it, which is Group H. Let's start with Togo versus Congo. I think it's going to be. I think Togo just aren't a good team. Can't think of any players that they've got now that could do anything. And the loss against Namibia means that I'd say don't stand a chance altogether. I am going to go with 2-0 victory to Congo because they're not the best. They're definitely not the best team in this group, but they've still got some. They've still got a strong enough team to get an away win at Togo, and for their level, they're pretty decent. Next, we go to Senegal versus Namibia. Namibia, I think, aren't such a bad side. Definitely not going to get near to the World Cup, but for their level, I think they could do something in this group. Maybe get second. They were at an Africa Cup of Nations last time out, but even though they didn't get too far, but I think they're still a team to look out for. But I think it's going to be too strong. I think Senegal are going to be too strong. They've got. I'm going to say it'll be 3-1. They've got so many strong players, so many good players. Sadio Mane, Koulibaly. I forgot the left back, but and then Ndoye, Mendy. I mean, there's so many good players they've got, and I think they'll walk this group. And they should be too strong for Namibia. And finally, we get to Group J, the most interesting group. Group J, Group I or Group J? I think it is Group J, actually. Yeah, Group J. I think this is the most interesting group because all these teams are pretty much the same level. All didn't qualify for the last AFCON. I think DR Congo has been the favourite in the group, but they haven't got a win yet, and drew at home to Tanzania, which has really opened things up. Tanzania being the lowest ranked team, although with Madagascar's 2 losses and they've got to play DR Congo away, you could say that they're perhaps out of the equation. But let's start with Tanzania versus Benin. I think this is going to be certainly an unpredictable affair. Tanzania are a good side for their level. Definitely, I would say one of the best teams of the top 4 teams. I think it's going to be a pretty close game. Benin, I think, have certainly stepped up and given 2 good. They were good away at Madagascar, and then they got a point at home to DR Congo. It's a tough one to call, but don't remember what I said not too long ago, but I'm going to give Tanzania a slim 2-1 win, even though I think Benin have been on good form lately. So yeah, I'm going to give it to Tanzania because I think they've got some players that can get them the victory. And then up next, we've got DR Congo versus Madagascar. I'm sure for most fans of African football, this is going to bring back memories of last year's Africa Cup of Nations when both sides were underdogs and they got to they played each other in the last 16. It went to penalties, and Madagascar, who topped a group with Nigeria, went on to the quarterfinals and made history. after a 2-2 draw and winning 4-2 on penalties. I think Madagascar have certainly had a poor start, and coming away to DR Congo is not going to help their chances. I think DR Congo will probably find some form and get a 3-1 victory. So these are my predictions. What do you say? What do you think? And if you want me to do the next round of fixtures, then do let me know as well. I'm certainly gonna watch. And speaking of watch, you can find these fixtures online on YouTube because FIFA are live streaming every single one of these games. So that'll give you the opportunity to watch and so on. But for those who watched it live, and even if it's just the one of you, and for those who watched it afterwards, thanks for watching. Do give your predictions once again, and our road to 2022 is still going. For now, I'm signing out. And I can't think of an ending. So all I'll just say is, football's coming home.